Yo, how's it going, guys? It's your boy Vladis. Um, Random stream.
NANI?!
Yeah, what? Random stream. Um, my wife, the girls are sleeping. Everything's okay. I have the monitor here in case anything happens. But, a lot of really good videos have gone out, since my live stream. A lot of opinions have been going out, from different content creators. And I feel like, since Phantom knew about all this, I haven't had time to process like he has this information. And, what's been interesting is actually, and I just want to say hi to everybody in chat. Ogley, Vale, Sourcap, welcome. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out in this, random live stream that I often sometimes do. But there was actually some new people popping into the Discord, into the Ashes Discord, just asking, what's the state of the game? Like, what is to be expected from Ashes as a player? And, should I buy it? I think very, based takes, like, should you buy this thing, and my whole thing is that, many of you guys know that I'm a stay-at-home dad. I'm very much a casual gamer dad now. Like, I am not going to be playing Ashes 10 hours a day every single day. I won't be Flanker. If you want that kind of content, go watch his channel. But, I was talking to one of my buddies today who's also another, dad like myself. And, he hasn't played an MMO in a long time. And, I'm a content creator for Ashes. And he was just like, should I test this thing out? Like, is it good? Like, what's going on with it? And, I told him basically the same thing I've been telling people when it was $120, when it was $110, when it was $100. And I'm going to say the same thing even now, it being $50. It's kind of what you want out of it. It's not a blanket, yes, you should buy it. But I told my friend to wait. And really realistically, why I said that is because even though it's launching on early access on Steam on the 11th, we all know the kind of debacles that happen with, early access, long queues, so on and so forth. And, I know a lot of people, in their videos were giving like the, goods and bads, or, being upset at the fact that it's on Steam or whatever. And for me, I don't like the decision. I've said it many times over in my live stream before, but it's going to happen. So, rolling with the punches, what can I do for people, in a very realistic manner? Like, if you are a dad gamer like myself, is Ashes worth it? I think it can be, depending on what you want from an MMO. If, you're looking for kind of like the WoW experience, you're going to be greatly disappointed because Ashes isn't WoW, but I know, people want to compare, people want to give, like, well, what is it like, because there's just some people in 2025 that hadn't played ArcAge, hadn't played Lineage 2. So like I was telling my friend, I was trying to describe to him the kind of game loops that are currently available for people, which aren't that many, but you can find community. And I think that is like what's so severely lacking in MMOs. Now, as someone who will probably play Ashes, a lot solo, I'm not going to say like 100%, but I do belong to a guild. I belong to Suspect. And I've made some really great friendships with those people throughout the years. And Let me see. If you aren't prepared to test a game with no real meaningful progression, wait for later updates or beta. Well, that's kind of like what I was telling my friend. It's like, you know, but it's hard. And the reason why it's hard is because when you buy a game on early access, like you're not expected to test. You're expected to play a game. And we all know that the game is kind of there, but it really isn't. Like, let's just be honest. It's not in its final form. It's being developed. And that's why I'm trying to just be as real as possible. And as much as I want everybody to try Ashes eventually, I think I would rather them save their $50 even just another week. Like, if you are really interested in Ashes of Creation, like I'm going to try to make a video probably this coming weekend, because currently I can't make a video um because right now we're in PTR testing and I can't record anything. But what I really do want to make a video for people that are like, well, what is the gameplay of Ashes of Creation? Well, I'm going to do a whole video where I'm going to jump in and literally start a brand new fresh character and show you what the first time user experience is like. And I'm going to kind of guide you through it. I'm going to kind of recommend certain things for you and show you kind of the game, what is to be expected from levels 1 through 5, pretty much. And I think a lot of people just don't, they're not going to care that it's an alpha. They're not. Like, again, just being realistic. They're going to see, oh my God, Ashes of Creation is available on Steam. And again, just like how we don't read the quests in Ashes of Creation, they're not going to read the fine print either. Like, again, like skip, 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 bye, 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 bye. They're going to think that Ashes is going to be in a state that is playable and as like has loops and things to do. And while there are some loops, while there are some things you can do, you run very quick, or you run out of things very quickly to do. And there's really only like grinding left, right? And I think, for people, maybe some casuals that are hopefully going to look at some videos, maybe hopefully look at mine, maybe they'll look at, Warriors, maybe they'll look at Nice's, and kind of just look to see what they're looking at. And, is this worth it for me? As someone who has been in this community for a long time and has um, seen the evolution and the progress of this game, I I feel like there could have been other ways to make money, and I wish we would have gone down those routes instead. Because like I said, I'm so nervous about this. Like I am so very nervous because I ultimately know that there's this segment of, the MMO community that utterly hates Ashes of Creation. And some of them used to be a part of this community. Some of them used to like love going into the Discord and, theorizing and theory crafting with people in the community. And then over time, they got bitter. Over time, they expected more. And while, I agree that following development sucks. Like it just does. Like it's not for everybody. I don't even think it's for myself. And I've said that before many times on my stream. Because they're just going through these ebbs and flows. I can't also expect a man nor a gaming company that is first established just nail the right process, like and nail like how to make an MMO in the fastest way possible. And you know I think I give Steven and the team like a lot of grace because I myself don't know, like, and I think anyone can just bitch and complain for like, oh, why is this taking so long, or why is that, why is it not happening in this way, and we can always like 1 second real fast. Be right back real fast. I'm gonna go get a bottle for my wife. Put on some music for you guys. Sorry about that. Um, my wife says hi. Tell her I said hi. Um, we have a shell of a game yet. People have managed to spend hundreds to thousands of hours. Well, yeah, I think it's really because people are very much desperate for an MMORPG. I'm one of them. Like, I'm just gonna be totally honest. Like, I'm one of them. This is why I've been in this community for a long time. This is why I've championed this game, because I truly want this game to succeed. I truly want this game to really pop off and to really, you know, hopefully go toe to toe with the other titans of this genre. Um, and that's why I'm just nervous, because I want, more time, and I think to myself, is that realistic? Can Steven, or, Intrepid, survive a couple of more years to be in this alpha development, which, as much as I would want it to, like, and this is why I talk about startups a lot, because there's this perception that, oh, well, they've had all this time or whatever. It's like, yeah, but can you honestly expect, a company to just nail it the first shot? You know what I mean? And now kind of knowing that from 2017 to, you know, 2021, that it was just basically kind of like R&D and like, concepting and developing these kind of isolated, systems to like see, is this going to work, or are these things like the direction we want to go in? And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And, you know, we got combat, several iterations of combat throughout the years from 2017 to 2021. And now I feel like the combat we have is fucking solid. Like, it really is. Like, MMOs can be in development for an insanely long time and never nail combat. It sucked, in the beginning, and it sucked 4 years after launch. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and the fact that Ashes really has the hardest aspect of an MMO nailed, at least in my opinion, like everything else is just like easy in comparison. Like, making quest is easy. Making the extra content is easy. Classes, that's probably another story, but you get my drift, right? Like, Ashes just needs time. And what isn't happening right now is people wanting to give Ashes any more time. And as much as they don't want to step away, which I don't understand, you know, I say to myself sometimes, why is it that people just can't look at ashes? You know what I mean? Like there's some people that they're like, oh, well, this game's dead, this game's dead. And it's like they were saying that like 2 years ago and they're still leaving the same comments now. It's like, why are you still here? You know what I mean? Like if you don't like this game, or if don't like this, like I don't like PAX Day. I'm not a fan of the project. I don't like the graphics. I don't like the gameplay loops. I didn't like the combat. I didn't like basically a lot of the stuff in that game. But I don't go in the PAX Day Discord or watch PAX Day content creators and go and like shit on PAX Day. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's like, I just don't care. So I just don't pay attention to it. And I kind of wish like people did that, because people actually did that with New World. And then something just like kind of snapped to be like, oh yeah, New World's a thing. Like, let me just go and check it out. And then it's like they were pleasantly surprised, whether it was like the Brimstone Stands update or whether it was like the most recent update. And I feel like if people can just do that with Ashes, it's just sort of like, MIB, like mind erase them for a bit. I feel like they would actually like, like the game, or potentially like where they're at, oh my God, I'm about to time this person out. What is this dude doing? What up, dude? What up, Slurps? Let me see. Quick question. Do they have a structure for testing? Uh, like, hey, let's check this area for the next few days. We're looking at this, or is it more gates are open, go forth? So, Brad, they do have that. So there's a lot of time, especially now, and this is why, like, you can go to the Ashes Discord, but I believe you won't be able to look at the PTR because you didn't have to purchase the game. But right now we are literally, and we did this last week as well, every single day in the PTR, we were specifically focus testing certain things. So like, as an example, here, let me go to the Ashes Discord and I'll literally give you examples. I'll scroll up real fast. So they were going to test raid bosses, and then we were testing the novice gathering, processing, crafting. We were testing the new Destiny thing. We were testing mules. We were testing a brand new user experience and balancing of the levels 1 through 9 experience. We were testing the new sports fishing. So like each test, we were literally very specifically doing certain things. And that's been a really awesome focus, the fact that we've been zeroing. But there are some times where they open up the PTR and they just allow us to do whatever. You know what I mean? Oracle, what's going on, brother? So it's kind of like a mishmash, but I think right now, because we're kind of setting up for Harbingers, they've been really focused testing certain systems and certain bits of content, like rigorously, which is good. Let me see. I also hate the combat, with its half action, half tab nonsense. I mean, and again, some people like it, some people hate it. I'm just saying for myself, like, I really dig it. I really enjoy it. And I would say the majority of the community does too. I think anytime you ask the community about combat, people think combat's in a really good spot. But I believe if you're more of an action Andy, like if you're a New World person, maybe you won't like Ashes' combat, just again, being more realistic. We see people's extreme expectations of Ashes is what's going to make them hate it. If you expect perfection, you will always be disappointed. 100%. 100%. And I think it's because Ashes originally, when it, in 2020, there were a lot of these multi-billion-dollar companies that were doing the most stupidest shit we've ever could have fathomed. And Ashes seemed like this kind of underdog emerging from the ashes because of the Lazy Peon video. And you had Asmongold, you had a whole bunch of other huge content creators. Steven went on this kind of like, content creator spree of interviews. And it sort of that, if you were around during that time, that felt so revigorating. It felt like the genre was like, it was being breathed new life because a lot of the MMOs around 2020, 2021 were just, you know, I think some of them were in bad spots. I know World of Warcraft was. Um, the combat is however you prefer. You can go full tab if you have it set up right. Yeah, and there's also where you can kind of go a little bit more actiony too. Um, and leveling is easy if you spend hours in a row grinding. Yeah, I mean, again, this is going to be a grindy game. And, honestly, if you look at Vanilla WoW, in my opinion, Vanilla WoW is a very grindy game. You're constantly grinding quests. Like, to me, that's a grindy game. But at the end of the day, MMOs are a grind. That's why people enjoy them, you know? I just think it's kind of like picking your grind. Like, what do you want to grind out? Do you want to grind quests? Do you want to grind mobs? Do you want to grind professions? Like, pick your poison, That's that's kind of what it is. Do you think you can't try it out until max level? You can get to level 10 in like 2 hours. Others can do it faster. Level 7 with no grind is fast. Yeah, I think right now, like, that's kind of like why I want to give, you know, maybe some casual dads. Cause honestly, like, I kind of feel like our particular, you know, age range or the people that are interested in Ashes of Creation is like 35 and up. I feel like that's a pretty good majority of I mean, there's people that are like in their 20s that play Ashes or whatever, right? You have like your flankers and you have like your Lloyds and stuff like that, and that's fine. But I feel like the majority of Ashes is a little bit of an older demographic. And my friend was basically telling me like, well, am I gonna feel kind of left behind in Ashes? And I said, yeah, you are. Just like if you were playing Vanilla WoW, you're going to feel behind. But why don't you feel behind in Vanilla WoW? Oh, because you don't care, right? Like, a person can start Vanilla WoW now. Will they care that there are people that are max level already? No. And I think there's just some people that truly just don't care. There is always going to be this rat race to the top, to, who can grind the fastest, who can do whatever. But I think a lot of the people that are, in my position of like, I'm going to play for maybe 2 hours, 4 hours a day at most, maybe after work, some R&R, and just kind of play Ashes or whatever. And, for me, like, and I've done this before, like after, I put the kids to bed or whatever, my wife says, hey, I'm just going to go to sleep right now. I'm super exhausted. And I say, okay, I'll get the monitor and I'll have the girls and, and I'll do for 2 hours is just chop trees and mine rocks. And as I'm doing that, I'm in my guild Discord, bullshitting, having a great time. And I loved it. I've had conversations with Slurp and I've told him like, I hated professions in WoW, but for some reason I dig it in Ashes. And it creates this thing of like, I'm there and I get like a legendary daffodil, and someone in Discord's like talking about like, oh, I need to make some thread. And I'm like, hey, I just got some legendary daffodil. I was like, I'm going to make them into thread. They're like, dude, yes, please, And it's like in those 2 hours, I was able to get some shit for me, make something for a guildie that is really awesome. And I feel accomplished. Like, do I need to feel this accomplishment of like, oh, I am the only level 17 person in the first day, like, no. Like, and again, if you're in your 20s and that's what you want to do, great. But I feel like MMOs, if you literally just take yourself out of the rat race, not only will you enjoy Ashes, but I feel like you'll just enjoy games in general. Like, racing strangers isn't really compelling to me at my age anymore. I'd rather just go in and be at my own pace and help out when I can. And, in my pocket of time that I can play, feel like I can accomplish stuff. And I truly feel like as a casual gamer dad, I can definitely do that in Ashes, even before all these current changes, mind you. Sorry, I don't mean to be neglecting chat. For me, I just hope that Asha's the best. Kind of tired of the same shit that Eastern MMOs offer: daily login, daily reward, weekly login, weekly reward, cash shop, etc., etc. And they all took the same, and they all look the same: character models, combat systems, all of them the same. Yeah, dude. Honestly, I can't do Eastern MMOs. I can't. The pay to win structure, and I talked about this in my last live stream. I literally can't. I can't. Um, because to me as a casual dad, as soon as I start feeling the need to swipe my credit card, I get so disinterested so quickly. And that's the one thing I actually appreciate in Ashes, is the fact that all they're going to have is a cosmetic shop. And coming from World of Warcraft, I am totally fine with that, because I've had to deal with freaking the WoW token. I've had to deal now with the freaking what is it? The some other currency that they're selling, Trader's Tender, and they're going to be selling another freaking currency. There, WoW is basically becoming an Eastern MMO at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if like they ended up having a different tier of subscription down the road as well. Let me see. Keep it up, dude. Thank you for your constant videos and info, man. Thank you, dude. I feel like I'm not as constant as I probably should be, but like I said, I'm a dad. I take care of my daughters. That has more of my priority currently than streaming, but I try my best to, you know, make videos, go live, talk about Ashes and stuff like that as much as I can. Levels don't mean a damn thing until castles come online. Yeah, I mean, and again, like there's certain people that are really chomping at the bit for certain bits of systems or content. For me personally, I'm waiting for augments. I am a class guy. I love talent trees. I love, like, you know, oh, what do I want to be? Do I want to be a dreadnought? Do I want to be a paladin? Do I want to be a necromancer? Like, how does these schools of augmentation affect my ability, my base ability for my class? Like, I can't wait for that shit. It's gonna be so awesome. See, I don't find it easy in Ashes. No one is social when I'm on, and honestly, the fonts are so hard to read. It makes chat hard to manage. Um, so I feel like I found the social aspect of Ashes to be really good. At least in my opinion. Maybe I'm a consecrator, maybe because they see my name in game, they're more chatty and stuff like that. But I've passed by people even on my alts, and, you know, just sent me an invite, you know, at like Coral Lock, at, you know, Highwayman Hills. And, you know, I do feel like there's a lot of sociality within the POIs and within certain structures. Now, I will agree with you. The font has gotten better, but bro, I wear glasses, bro. Sometimes I'm literally like I feel like an old man sometimes, because I'm like, why isn't the font bigger? You know, like I can totally agree with you on that one. Let me see. I just want econ to be fixed. And, you know, right now in the PTR, they literally halved all of the quantity of materials required for T1, T2, and T3 recipes, which is great. And they also removed fuel from novice completely. So you don't even need fuel anymore for novice processing. You do, however, still have to buy the vendor reagent, and you do still have to pay the processing fee. Now, haven't left my feedback yet. I am still kind of typing it out. I have like 7 major points that I want to kind of go over. I personally don't mind fuel. I would rather have the processing fee be eliminated. Because double dipping into either buying the vendor reagent and also being hit with the processing fee freaking sucks. I think at a novice, I also should say that the reagent should be optional and not mandatory for a novice. I think that the processing fee should either be eliminated completely or have a kind of an escalating cost. So it's very cheap to process, let's say like 100 whatever. But if you do another process, it goes up again. Like it just escalates. And then of course, over time it degrades. I would rather have something like that personally, especially for novice, because if you're a level 3 or if you're a level 5, especially if you're someone who doesn't even know Ashes of Creation, again, I've been playing this all phases, but if you're talking to someone who's completely fresh, brand new, doesn't know how to play the game, doesn't know what to do, they're not going to have enough money to do the professions or to make gear. So you need to ease them into it. you need to, again, the novice is supposed to be very introductory. It needs to be very, new player friendly. And again, as much as sometimes like reality sucks, in certain aspects of learning a new game, I feel like that one is just something that, in my opinion, doesn't need to be there, or it doesn't need to be as expensive as it is. Especially now. Oh, and the other major change they did in the PTR is that they greatly increased gear drops. So I got, literally within a couple of hours, I got probably like 14 or probably 18 pieces of gear. Now, some stuff was for my class because I was playing fighter. Some stuff wasn't for my class. But I got, and the other thing too is I got gear from crows, from ravens, from wolves. It wasn't just humanoids that you need to kill anymore. Like, you literally kill anything in Ashes. You kill a Grim, and a Grim can give you a helmet. Like, everything was dropping gear. Now, mind you, I only got one uncommon out of that entire 18 pieces. The rest were just common. And the other thing I noticed too was that the white items that I did get had less stats on them than the crafted pieces, which I thought was really, really, really good. So a crafted white item compared to a dropped white item, the crafted is better. So I really dug that too. Like I said, Quartarian Slurp, he's actually in the econ team. He and his teammates have been fucking working their asses off. People have always said, are they listening to our feedback and stuff like that? Yeah, 100%. This is why I'm here. Again, if Corey and his team were ghosting me, or Ashes of Creation ghosts the feedback of the game, I wouldn't be here. Literally would not be here, because I did that shit for Blizzard for decades. I am not doing that shit again, where I am writing out these fucking pages of feedback just for it to go in the freaking trash can. It's stupid. You have the luck. I got very little from kills. Bro, I was getting them everywhere. Like, I was doing the commissions that were in Lion's Hold, which is like killing like the Grims, killing the wolves, killing the ravens, killing the highwaymen, all down south. I was killing undead. I was killing the goblins, both in the upper part of, Lion's Hold and in Coral Lock. I was getting, and I got 9 bright glint, or not bright. What's the blue one called? So it's dim glint, dull glint, dim glint. Bright, I think, is gold, but I got like 9, almost 90 silver worth of glint, which was crazy. I did one loop with the starting commissions in Lion's Hold and got 3 pieces of gear. It's definitely been bumped hard. Yeah, I know. And that's what I mean. Like, I think it's really, really, really good. And the cool thing I like about it too is that, like, especially like, again, I got stuff that really wasn't for me. And because gear is dropping so much, if you're in a guild, dude, just put that in the guild bank, and then you can go in and be like, oh, there's some plate stuff that I want, or whatever, right? Like, you can get decked out, I think, very quickly if you're running within a pretty efficient guild, or even semi-efficient. Doesn't have to be efficient, but just even semi-efficient. I think you can get some really good stuff. Wolves Eat Adventurers seems normal. Well, I remember, especially if you've been in the community for a long time, you always heard Steven say in the past that, like, only humanoids will drop gear because it doesn't make sense that a wolf or, something, drops gear or whatever. But it's like, I always said in my mind, okay, fine, whatever. But I've come from WoW. Like, it didn't matter. Like, you killed whatever, it could drop whatever. And, you kill a wolf, it drops silver or some copper. It never really bothered me because I was totally fine with it in WoW. Why can't I be okay with it in Ashes? To me, it just, all I want is for people to feel like what they're doing isn't just earning XP. And I felt like before this change, that's really all you were doing, is just earning XP. You weren't really, you weren't even getting glint either. Glint, I thought, was so hard to get, especially now with like how the increase in, vendor items and just vendor stuff in general, or especially if you're going to go down like processing or crafting, Like all that's like really expensive. So I feel like in my mind, the reason why I want stuff to be like cheap, like pretty cheap, because I want a new person to be able to like go out and gather and feel like, oh man, I got all this stuff. Like, let me see how many pieces I can make from it, right? But I feel like that barrier of, oh, I need like gold or like silver or whatever, it just like it kind of stifles that. Look at all the stuff I got, you know, like as a brand new person. And again, like apprentice, journeyman, that's where shit gets real, right? But I feel like these earlier stops, like steps, is where it shouldn't matter as much. And I think, you know, why, like, why stifle that? Most people don't even care about novice anyway. Like, novice gets skipped over so quickly because people can level from 1 to 10 so fast that the novice tier almost becomes obsolete at this point. People almost consider apprentice to be really the true first tier of crafting or processing. Someone new to play with resources they get. Yeah, well, that's what I mean, right? Like I just I've heard that kind of feedback too. Is like, you know, they go out and chop all these trees, or they'll mine some nodes, gather some flowers or whatever, and they'll have like just a whole bunch of stuff. And, you know, they don't, oh, like I don't have money to process them. Like I got to make them to timber, but I don't have enough money to process the timber, or I don't have enough money to make them to thread, or I don't have, you know, the money to make the craft itself, right? It's like, it's always like money, money. It's like all these money issues basically. And again, these are brand new people, like people that have been here, people that know, understand like, okay, I have to have this much, whatever, whatever, whatever. But I feel like people are going to think that all this game is just a huge like gold sink basically. And I feel like, again, gold sink shouldn't happen until later in the game. You know what I'm saying? But I understand how Ashes is designed. I understand how, you know, they're kind of feeding into where it's like T1, T2, T3 kind of thing. But I feel like I would rather have the later stuff be more expensive. But right now I feel like it's crazy expensive. Like, again, what was it to make like an apprentice bag was like 11 gold? What the hell? An apprentice bag. It's, to me, it's the equivalent of a 6 slot bag in WoW. Who the hell is going to play 11 gold for a 6 slot bag? That makes no sense. And so I feel like there's just so much that needs to be recalibrated in the sense of like, you know, recipes, in the sense of like gold, and also kind of making the high end players, like the ones that are really like the auctioneers that earn like a tremendous amount of gold, like having just bigger sinks from like these more extravagant vendors, right? Like that to me would be like way better, right? But I think stifling all of these new people from potentially like earning gold, like if I'm a novice person and I want to go out, and people were doing this in P2 and to great success, mind you, like there was a lot of people that were brand new in P2, at least in our guild, that they went out and chopped trees and they processed them. And there was the fuel, of course, but the fees weren't there, right? So they were processing like 250 logs like every day. And that was their gameplay loop. And they really loved it. They were selling off timber. They were going off into other, like traveling basically and being like, hey, I'm selling like my ash timber. I'm selling my Western larch timber. Like, what do you need? I have all these rarities and stuff like that. It provided a really good gameplay loop for them. But I feel like, you know, maybe they were thinking, oh, well, we need more like gold sinks in the game, right? Because there's so many players that are just acquiring all this gold. Well, now there was like the static node rarity, there's RMT, there's botting, there's like a whole slew of reasons why people are earning all this gold. Not saying that people aren't actually doing it naturally, but I feel like a lot of them aren't doing it naturally. Let's just be honest here. There's just so many dupes, so many things that the people were doing that caused the gold inflation to be out of control. And what really pissed me off is that some of these things have actually been going on for phases. And some guilds who knew about these things never let Intrepid know because it benefited them in an alpha. Like, That's the one thing about our community I don't understand, dude. Like the fact that you want this competitive edge in an alpha that is could be wiped makes no sense other than just bragging rights in Discord, which okay, cool. Like our guild's something to be reckoning with. But then it's like once it comes out though, everyone knows you're a fraud. Like everyone knows like your guild was just cheating. So where's the honor and prestige then? Like, and again, I tell everybody this. If you find a fucking bug or if you find a dupe and you belong to these guilds, right? And you're seeing the pings in Discord from your guild leaders or from your officers about a certain thing that, hey, do this because our guild's going to get a lot of gold or our guild's going to get a lot of these items. Fucking report it. Like, don't say anything in your guild. Take a screenshot, give it to a fucking developer, give it to Steven, and let them deal with it. You don't even have to let your guild know. Just be like, hey, our guild found this stupid ass dupe, you know, like, and they're wanting to, you know, exploit it or, you know, like we've just figured it out. It's been a thing. But I feel like some of these guilds are just, you know, they're all in cahoots with just wanting to cheat. And, you know, and so these other competitive guilds also feel the need to cheat to be as equally competitive. It just doesn't make sense. It's easy to see an alt with 400 gold from a dev standpoint. Is it? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I honestly want to join some of these guilds undercover specifically to report that kind of shit from the sweaty guilds. Yeah. Let me see. The cheating in alpha is ridiculous. My guild leader cuts people when they are reported. Yeah, and that's, in my opinion, like, if that's the kind of player you want to be, cool. But I think it just has no place here. It really doesn't. It has no place here. Like, we're all trying, like, do you remember when New World was like just freshly launched and there was a bug where if you put your client in windowed mode and you jiggled it around, you were invincible? Like, imagine if you found that bug in the alpha, you know, and then you just waited until the launch, you know, and went PvP, and then you were just like this invincible thing, you know, like, it's like, bro. Now, New World had a lot of issues in its launch, and I think that was just the one of many big, huge, critical issues. But, you know, I just don't want Ashes to launch with something that crazy. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think all of us just want a launch that feels like good, right? Like, oh shit, like it's going to be such an exciting thing. And I feel like, you know, whether it was like the rarity overlay, whether it's like the crate duping, whether it's like the RMT, you know, all of that shit just puts such a wind in people's sails. You know what I mean? And then it's like, it's extra work for Intrepid to do, to go in, look at what accounts are doing fucking what, where's the gold being passed to, who is the originator of all these things. Like, I don't know. It's just so much bullshit at the end of the day. It's just dumb. Black Desert had a bug like that too. That's interesting. Let me see, if a player is level 2 and has 400 gold, that's a flag. Yeah, that's what I mean, right? Like, and this is honestly why, like, I actually want gold to be account wide. Like, I really do. I think gold should just be account wide. Like, I mean, or if like you can actually go to your storage and actually deposit gold, you know, from your character or whatever. But I would rather just have gold account wide. So that way it's like, if I have like 1,000 gold already on my main and I go onto my alt, like it's my account, right? Like, that way it prevents people from, you know, moving all this gold basically, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm going to get my main character and trade it to a friend and then trade it to my alt. And now I have like, you know, 2,000 gold, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna have 3,000 gold. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like just make gold account wide, you know? I think that would just be, for me, it would be insanely fucking convenient too. because it's like sometimes I have like, 12 gold or whatever. And if I make a brand new character, I already can buy my bags. To me, it's just a very nice quality of life that I don't think ruins anything because you kind of already earned it. You know what I'm trying to say? Because to me, it's the same equivalency of like, I made all this novice gear for my level 1 that I'm about to create. And then I'm going to trade that to my friend, and then he's going to trade it to my level 1. Same thing. Like, who gives a shit? Let me see what guild exploited in phase 3. I believe Polar. Polar was banned. I believe Polar. I'm not saying definitively Polar, but I think there were, I think, 17 actioned accounts with Polar, and I believe there was also like a video that a person like a video where they killed a Polar caravan and found like the duplicate crates inside. Same ones as always. Shared storage where you can drop gold into. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I would rather have either like a shared account or like, you go to your storage and there's just like a deposit for gold, and then you just like drop it in there, and then when you go into your alts, they can basically pull out of that same, storage. Like, I think that would be just chef's kiss. It'd be like really, really awesome. Yeah, Polar got banned and then hid in other guilds for the rest of the phase. See, honestly, and here's my thing, dude. I really don't pay attention to a lot of the drama that happens with that stuff. To me, I feel like it's just more of like, oh, there's a like a dupe happening. I don't care who's doing the dupe. All I care about is, did people report the dupe and how to replicate it so that way Intrepid could fix it? You know what I'm trying to say? Because I feel like a lot of these guilds that end up being exposed already have the kind of reputation that they have, right? And I kind of think too, like, it's going to be that reputation where, especially when the game does go live and we're not forced on a mega server, if a certain guild's going to server A, well, you can just go to server B or server C. You know what I mean? Like, for me, phase 1 was awesome in that regard because everybody was on Resna and I was on Vira. And the virus server was lit, man. I loved phase 1 virus server. That was the shit, because Resna, you had all of the major guilds in Resna. Like, it was insane. You had Ethereum, you had Axiom, you had I don't even think Polar was there yet, or was Polar there? You had a Lineker's Guild, you had DA's Guild. Like, you basically had all of these guilds like on this server, and it was just chaos. Like, and over on it almost reminds me of like like that SpongeBob meme where Squidward's looking from like his house, and you see like SpongeBob and Patrick like having a good time. That was the virus server. Squidward was Resna. Like, Ashes is such a different game when you don't have to play with those people and they're not on your server. Like, it's just, and that's what I mean. Like, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, like, it's a problem that kind of fixes itself, at the end of the day. But, hey, there's always gonna be bad actors. There's always going to be people that are going to do stupid shit. It kind of is what it is. Let me see. It's a shame. I like some of the Polar guys, but they keep exploiting and not reporting to the devs. Like I said, I don't have like a specific issue with any Polar member. There's a couple of people in Polar that I chat with in Discord, like as far as like in the Ashes Discord. And some of them seem, very reasonable, like, or like super chill or whatever, right? I mean, yeah, we all meme in there and stuff like that, but I've actually had several conversations with a couple of them. And like, again, I don't have any issues with any of them. But I feel like, it's all about kind of the organization you want to belong to, right? Is this the kind of people that I want to be around? Is this the kind of association that I want with me, and my character? Because like I said, that guild tag is going to mean a lot. Like, you can be the nicest person in the world, but if you have that guild tag and people know that guild tag is known for certain things, is it worth it? You know, it's kind of like at the end of the day. What guild are you in, Vladis? I'm in Suspect. I've known the boys at Suspect for as long as I've been in Axiom. So when I came into the Ashes community, I joined Axiom, but I also knew Psycho, who was the guild leader of Suspect, and I knew a lot of the leadership in Suspect, literally at the same time, because the person who brought me into Axiom was good friends with people in Suspect. So I pretty much knew both of them simultaneously when I joined Ashes. And then of course I started to get to know like more guilds. Like as I became in there, I got familiar with like Nexus because of the Golden Feather. I got familiar with Neo's guild because of the Divine Order. You know, I got to know Thogli because of, you know, Dunhold. You know, I just, you know, as of course being a content creator, right, I was just kind of reaching out to a lot of the GMs and just talking with them. You know, I've talked to Lineker twice, and Lineker's such a funny dude. I love talking to Lineker about Ashes. It's fun. I did a ton and had a blast doing it. Yeah. Sorry, I thought my daughter was waking up. Oh man, the server wide war when Ethereum moved over to Vira was fun times. Oh my god, yeah, I remember that too. And again, it's because like the Resna server was just so toxic. It was so bad. And we were just having a fucking fun ass time on Vira, and it was just good. You know, it was chill. And I do feel because we had a lot of collaboration in Vira. And that's like I said, I do feel like there are going to be some servers in Ashes that are going to be very collaborative and not like toxic. And I feel like those servers are going to end up being known by both the good people and the bad people. Because of course they're going to want to like either fuck with it or they're going to want to like be a part of it. So, you know, at the end of the day, we'll see what happens. When it comes to guild tag, it won't matter. It would actually be alliance tags because guilds are not going to be taking things by themselves. It will be a mega alliances of 1,000+ people or more. Potentially, I think certain guilds are still going to be known for something. And even if it is an alliance, you'll know who's a part of that alliance or not. I still think the guild tag matters at the end of the day, but I get your point. Let me see. Care Bears Sundays, the good times. Care Bears Sundays. Let me see. People get their kicks out of doing that. We had a lot of collab. We were always on the verge of popping off any second too. Lots of lagging up and grind spots and not stupid long-term drama from it. Yeah, that was the other thing too, is like I remember fighting oh my god, what was their name? Oh god, it's gonna elude me, but if Roar was here, he would be able to know. It was this one guild. We were at Highwayman Hills. We were like level 15. Something of the Shadowhawk. It's like Order of the Shadowhawk, or I feel like something of the Shadowhawk. It was like in phase 1, and we both flagged up on each other, and it was that was a lot of fun. That's all I'll say. Like I remember that. I still remember that till this day. That shit was fun. Max members of guild. So right now it's 50, but there are going to be ways to increase that number. I believe it'll go anywhere between 50 members to 300 members. But of course we're they're still balancing. They're still adding in, additional guild systems to facilitate, the higher increase in guilds right now. So right now, basically, like if you're a guild leader, you're just gonna have multiple guilds. Like you'll have like one guild of 50 that's like your econ, another guild of 50 that's like your PvP, another guild of 50 that's like your PvE people. Like that's like a lot of what the bigger guilds are doing currently. Until alliances become a thing, I think that's where, that's where we're currently at. When guild words were bugged and wouldn't end for a week. Oh my god, dude, yes. Dude, that shit was so fun. 50 up from 140 is a lot of work right now. What's max level for Steam launch? Still 25? Yes. So 25 is still going to be the quote unquote like max level. But of course the true max level of Ashes of Creation is level 50. So At this level, smaller is probably better. Yeah, well, there's still, again, there's still a lot of stuff that we, you know, have to, test out. I mean, classes being one of them, abilities, class balance, PvP, corruption, corruption protection, or not corruption protection, but PvP protection. There's just a lot of that stuff that we have to, figure out. Hey, what up, Black and Gold? Good to see you, brother. Thank you for joining us. You see the guild limit doesn't really matter other than feels. People just make extra guilds. Yeah, that's what people are currently doing right now, just making extra guilds. Uh, hey, what do you think about beating around the bush with the stat changes and dumping loads of unwanted, not asked by anyone work on themselves? Why can't we have 2.5 TTK or this phase TTK? Both could have been perfect with so micro changes. Um, Again, I haven't really tested a lot of the TTK stuff, but I think right now with how they did the HP change, from what people in Polar said, because they were one of the, I think Dev Jacob was in the chat, like in Discord with them, and they were asking questions to Jacob, and Jacob was answering, and Jacob basically said the HP change that kind of put TTK on its head currently, because like there was like a fighter and a cleric going on for like 30 minutes, like dueling basically. Jacob did say that that was one part of the overall change that has occurred, and the other part hasn't occurred yet, and that should happen maybe this week. So I don't know if it's going to be this week now. I don't know if shit got moved, but we'll see what happens. HP change is needed, definitely whacked right now though. Yeah, and again, like we'll have to wait and see like how the other part of the change, like, and what that's going to allude to, or whatever. But this is the whole thing with alphas, man, is that you have to understand, like, there's so much A/B testing that needs to happen, and as a tester and as someone, you think, oh, this is like the right, like this feels so good. We don't also know the intent of the devs and why they're doing certain changes. And, as much as people want like the transparency there, I feel like I wish, a lot of the big issues that people are having for the month, those should be the issues that they discussed, or Steven should discuss in the live stream. I felt like, again, not this live stream where they made the Esteem announcement, but the previous live stream before that, they did that. They literally addressed every single issue that was going on in the community at that time, and it was fucking awesome. And I truly feel like either, whether it's a moderator like Roshan or Vaknar, because they're constantly in the Discord, I don't know how much they already have on their plate. I know every person that's working in Intrepid has a shit ton on their plate already, but if hell, like, if Steven wants me, I'll fucking do it. And I'll just like send something of Roshan to Vaknar and be like, hey, these are some of the major things that people have been discussing this month, like issues or like concerns, or maybe just some clarification on like, why did you do these things? Like, what was the purpose of this particular change? Like, how do you see this change like moving forward in the future? Like stuff like that, right? Just to provide extra context for us, so that way we can actually give better feedback. Because if we don't know like the direction, or we don't know the intention of a certain change, our feedback could either be good for you as a dev, or bad data, like, because maybe the stuff that we get, just isn't what the devs wanted. But we get daily, weekly, and monthly reports on that. Community team is all over it. Well, there you go. And I feel like if that's already happening, Slurp, I really think that, Margaret needs to probably put that in her show notes. Because personally, I'm not saying I don't like the Q&A at the end, but I think having, like major concerns, like, and just Steven kind of going over them, or even bringing like devs like yourself, and being like, hey, we have a couple of questions from econ, or like we have questions about economy, like let's bring one of the economy guys on the live stream to talk about it. Or if like we have questions when it comes to combat, let's bring one of the combat people on. Like, I think that would be just, it would give so much more for us, and just better provide better feedback, for you guys. Did you apply for the content creator program thing? Um, I have, but Steven doesn't like me. And Steven, just he's not ever going to let me a part of that program. He probably doesn't even think I'm a great content creator, to be honest. I don't know. I'm just joking. No, I hope I hope that they, and again, it's one of those things that, I nice gaming. He's very consistent content, always does amazing. Um, and I feel like Flanker's been making really, really good content. He's very consistent. Burns, I think he's like one of the best Ashes content creators. He's very consistent with his content. I've been very inconsistent with my content. Mainly because, like as much as I go live, like my time is just so valuable right now. Like I don't, I used to just have time all the time to just do whatever. And, having a 4-month-old, having about to be a 2-year-old and having a 9-year-old is just, it's a lot, so, I can't always put it all on my wife. So I try to be there as much as I can. And basically like my YouTube suffers a little bit because of that. And my streaming suffers, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be on more. That's kind of why I'm actually streaming right now. Currently, let me see. CC program can't just be for the full-time nonstop streamers. Well, it just depends on what Intrepid wants from the CCs. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and from what I did hear in the live stream, when they announced the Steam stuff, they said that there were going to be, either you got in or you're rejected. So I'll let you guys know if I got in or if I got rejected. We'll see. Did you sign up for the duels? How do you think this will go with this TTK? Bro, I did see the thing for the 1v1 duels. I would think that, wouldn't you rather have this 1v1 after the second half of the HP changes was in? Like, wouldn't that be better data? A Vladis Night talk seems good to me. Well, I hope so. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm just bullshitting with you guys. I think it's gonna be interesting. And they did say they would actually lift the visual NDA for the tournament, which I thought was really, really cool. Not rejected, postponed, with notes about what they would like to see improved. Yeah, well, we'll see. Let me see. The problem is the hardcore folks need a balance from the time limited. Yeah, well, it comes down to their strategy is going to have to shift, because I believe there's going to be like a death, like a sudden death or whatever, and there's actually going to be a timer too. So people that are going to be dueling, they're going to have to kind of change up their strategy and how they're going to fight, which will be interesting. Oh, what was the TTK for 1v1 kills? Was it a long time? So currently it just depends on the matchup. When the HP changes went off, there were some classes that couldn't even kill the other. Like they were just infinitely dueling. So, I mean, because there were HP values, there were some fighters that had 20,000 health, 25,000 health. Yeah. And tanks, had insane health too. So really the meta is just stack HP basically. And if you can stack enough HP, you're kind of undefeatable at that point. So we'll see, we'll see what happens. They did say that they were going to have a vendor with gear on there. So maybe those specific HP values will be reduced. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Tanks and fighters, good luck killing. Yeah, dude, I'm going to play a fighter this phase. I played Ranger enough. I tried Mage. I missed my fighter. I played fighter in phase 1 and I had such a fucking time with him. And I'm going to bring him back. I'm going to make a Renkai fighter and it's going to be fucking awesome. Personally, I will take what I can get. I always have fun listening to Vladis. Aw, thanks, man. They may have to create class versus class modifiers to correct TTK. Potentially. Again, I'm going to probably say something um, of a minority opinion, probably. I know the majority probably don't think what I'm about to say. Um, I would rather just have different gear. I'd rather have PvP gear and PvE gear because I feel like it's just so hard to balance when you're trying to combine everything. Um, but they did a pretty good job of doing it before. Again, I just want to see what this second change. What I don't know if it's. I don't think it's a reduction of HP. I think there's going to be some just other modifiers that they're probably going to change. But if they can have it combined, it'll make it less crazy for me. But maybe that's more of my WoW talking there because when I did a lot of arena in BC, I had my PvP gear, which is my arena set gear, and then I had my regular like dungeon raid gear. So that's kind of like what I'm used to. And I feel like it's just better from a developer standpoint, right? Because it's like, oh, if you're all in your PvP gear, like these stats and how much we have them does this. But because Ashes is kind of a game where it's PVX, right? I truly don't think that you could have two separate gear sets, right? Because it's like if you have just all your PvE gear and you don't have any kind of PvP gear with like a resilience or something like that, like an extra kind of PvP defensive, it's just going to get very muddy and very ugly. So Summoner, we still don't know or still don't have good players on class since it's new and hard to play. Yeah, Summoner, and again, Zyback was in Discord and he said, and he's a very good rogue player, and rogue is also a very high skill ceiling. He said that Summoner has an even higher ceiling of skill than the rogue, which, I trust his judgment. I mean, he's a hell of a rogue player. Um, um, Let me see. I appreciate your opinion on the game as someone who doesn't play 100 hours a week. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Actually, funny enough, um, there was another person who said that to me in Discord and said, "Hey, I really like your takes on Ashes because you play the game as much as I do." you know, and hey, like you're gonna have your sweats, you're gonna have your flankers, and your burns of the world, um, and you're gonna have people like me that are gonna play the game, and I truly feel like if the game can appeal to someone like me that only plays a few hours a day, then Ashes can be for a lot of other people too, because in the plethora of discords that I go into are dad gamers like me with kids, with a wife, with jobs, and they want just a couple of hours to play a game, and most of them actually want an MMO to play, and it's just it's been very disheartening to see games like New World being shut down, to see what was it, the Lord of the Rings MMO be canceled, and other projects be canceled, like I think it was like Project Ghosts that got shut down. And so like there's just been this kind of like this super just negative sentiment just kind of going down and down and down. And I don't know, man. Like I understand why people are frustrated. I understand why people are pissed, because whether it's like if you're a huge Lord of the Rings fan and you're looking forward to this MMO, and now it's like gone, dude, I remember people were saying in 2020, oh, dude, the Riot MMO is going to be way better than Ashes. Riot MMO is going to be freaking amazing. And then like we just got confirmation when Ghostcrawler left that the Riot MMO basically was scrapped and they were starting all over. And now that was a huge blow to a lot of the Riot people that were looking forward to the MMO, right? Let me see. It appeals to you because you have a support system. A noob will not have that. There's a gap. I mean, I have a support system for my guild, but I feel like if you truly want to play the game solo, you can. It's going to be a hell of a lot harder. And this is why I tell anyone, like, if you're a dad gamer, you know what I mean? Join a guild. any fucking guild, and just, see if they're your kind of people. But most people, like, I'm being honest, like most people like have a kind of community they play with. And, if you're truly someone like outside of the Ashes community completely, like you don't know anyone here, you don't have any, like, you don't know, like Vladis, who would you recommend for, a guild? Well, the first I would have to say is mine, because I think we have a pretty awesome guild. I think we have badass fucking leadership. We have a really good guild lead in Psycho. But if you don't want to join, like, because mine's very mercenary heavy, like we are mercs, at the end of the day. But we do have people that are just PvE players. We have people that are just gatherers and profession people. So, for me, there's like a mom who plays in our guild, and she's awesome, you know? So I don't know, like, I mean, there's all walks of life in a bunch of different guilds. But I mean, there's also like Neo's guild, the Divine Order. Neo is very good guild leader. And then we have, Axiom. I was in Axiom for a long, long, long time. Angel Cries, she's a great guild lead as well. They're very straight arrow people. She takes duping and cheating very seriously. And if you are caught doing it, you are pretty much G-kicked. I mean, same goes, well, in our guild. I think any legitimate guild does not tolerate that shit. And then of course there's Nexus. So if you like, if you're a fan of the Golden Feather, they have a guild there too. So, I mean, there's plenty of guilds. Like, I don't think there's any, it's not hard to find a guild. It just isn't. And honestly, when I played Vanilla WoW back in like 2006, how I found my very first guild was me running around guildless, doing quests. And there was a guy, and that his name was Fierce, and he was in a guild called what was it? Skeleton Crew? It was my very first guild. I can't really remember this. I'm literally like thinking really hard right now. I was like, what was our first guild? It's like, I think it was Skeleton Crew. And I literally met him like when I was crossing into the Barrens. I was super low level. His main was already like max level. He was level 60. And I was just, I was looking for like a quest item or a quest person. And he was passing by and said, "Hey, do you know where this thing is?" Like, I just said it in a say bubble. And he's like, "Yeah, I know where it is." And he took me to it. And at the very end, he's just like, "Hey, are you new?" Or it's like, "Do you not have a guild?" And he's like, "Hey, do you want to be in our guild?" And I was like, "Sure," and I mean, dude, as dudes, it ain't hard. Like, if you're guildless and you literally just say something like, "Hey, can I be in your guild?" Like, most people will say sure, and then there's either like a trial period, or like you'll go in, talk to people in the Discord or whatever. Like, it ain't a big thing. Like, we're all gamers. Like, we've joined guilds before, or, it's not a hard thing. I'm not an ex-WoW player, and guilds were not easy to get into for some of the other games I'm in. Really interesting. I don't know. I played WoW mainly for like, what was it, 18 years. And I found, hopping guild to guild when I was in there was pretty easy. But even in Ashes too, like, I've seen people that are guildless in Ashes. No, some of them sometimes are on a alt, but hey, you know what I mean? Like, if you see somebody, I know a lot of people in my guild do this. It's like they'll bring someone for like a grind group, and if you see someone that's guildless, I'm like, "Hey, do you not have a guild? Do you want to be in our guild?" You know what I mean? Like, we do it all the time. So I feel like sometimes, you just got to keep playing. And I'm an introvert. I don't like to talk in Ventrilo. That's why. You don't have to talk in Ventrilo or in Discord or whatever. I feel like you can just, just say something in game or whatever. And there's people that literally, that are very big contributors that are in our guild that never even say anything on a mic, like they'll literally just say stuff in game or whatever. And, they'll hear, but that's about it. But I just think it all comes across like whatever requirements the guild wants from you. You know, there's some guilds that want, you know, hey, if you're going to be in our guild, we need you to talk. And if that's something you're not comfortable with, then you can just find another guild. You know, to me, it's like, you know, there's literally like in Ashes of Creation, that's literally an alpha, unfinished game. There is like probably hundreds of guilds. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. There's probably over 100 guilds that are in Ashes of Creation currently. So like I said, if you want to, you know, message me on Discord and ask me like, hey, this is the kind of player I am, like what guild would you recommend me, you know, for me to like talk to or whatever, I will suggest what guild. You know, it doesn't even have to be my own. I'm just saying, like, I know a lot of the guild leaders in Ashes, so I can recommend you. If you're a person in my chat that's guildless and you really want to be in a guild, please message me and I will help you find one. 100%. A Repa adventurer, thank you so much for the follow, man. Thank you. Ventrilo threw me back. Yeah, dude. That was my very first talking platform. I didn't have Mumble. I didn't do TeamSpeak. The very first, like, our Skeleton Crew guild was on Vent. So when people are like, hey, get in Vent, like, that's what it was. And then I never even downloaded TeamSpeak or Mumble. I went from Vent to Discord when I think Discord launched, or what expansion in WoW did we get into Discord? I think it was Legion, because we were still using Vent and Warlords. Yeah. Throws me back too, because it feels like I've been in Discord for a long time, but I was trying not to mention that. Dude, living in 2008. I know, right? It's been a long time, man. Shit. I'm an old person, dude. You gotta get me my insure and, you know, my diapers and stuff, you know. First guild I ever joined was in Final Fantasy. Everyone's name, hold on. Everyone's name was weed related. What? So you saw me as a stoner, they invited me. Are you serious? That's so funny. Oh man. Let me see. It's so funny. I begged my mom for a whole year to pay my subscription to WoW until she did. I leveled to 60 and BC dropped like 2 months after and had to level all over again. It was so sad, man. Dude, so I played vanilla WoW in August of 2006. Burning Crusade came out in January in 2007. I literally got to level 60 barely when BC came out. And then I was like, like, I was so mad because I was like, 10 more fucking levels now. Are you serious? Like, you know, but thank God, like, I think the BC experience was so cool. Like going, you know, past the portal and stuff like that. It was just a really cool experience. Unspoken Tomcat, dude, thank you so much for the sub, brother. Thank you. What is up, dude? Tango in the house, man. Welcome. Nah, we're just bullshitting. I'm probably going to be getting off soon. I've been streaming for like an hour and a half already, but I just came in just to talk about, you know, should you buy Ashes of Creation? So kind of swinging back to that point, should you buy Ashes of Creation on December 11th? No. I truly think that if you, and again, just because I say no doesn't mean, okay, I'm going to just walk away from the project. No, I think you should just wait. Like, literally wait, watch people's videos, watch my streams, watch other people's streams and videos. Because I would rather you spend your $50 and get in when there isn't a 4-hour queue potentially. And I would rather you have an experience to hopefully be able to not, you know, if the game isn't for you, that you have the ability to refund. Because I think if you're stuck in queues, the game isn't going to register the difference of like, oh, you were in a queue or you were in game. I would rather you just be prevented from that. And I truly believe that if you are desperate for an MMO and you do have some faith in Ashes, I would really implore you to wait. If you want to buy it, like, I can't stop you. It is what it is. But from my, you know, if you were just like my friend that I've known for many years, I told him the same thing. I said, just wait. Just wait. Even if it's a week, wait a week and just see like servers calm down, you're able to get in with no queue, and then try the game. Especially if you have no guild or whatever, there's no reason for you to jump in right on the 11th, like other than you just really, really, really want to. But I feel like if you truly can just wait, not only will you be able to have like, a pretty good starting experience, you'll also have the ability to refund it, in case you don't like it. And I feel like there's just going to be so many people that, are going to purchase it on the 11th and then be stuck in queues and then be mad at Ashes because they can't refund it. And I would rather just skip all that and, just tell you right out the gate, like, just wait, the game has so much more to develop, so much more to look forward to. There's a lot of content that's coming, even coming at the first quarter of next year that is really, really, really exciting. So yeah, that's really all I about to say. I wouldn't stop eating for the game, but I think every cent counts, and if you believe in the game, it will still help the game forward, and there's an option for refund. That's just what I think. Yeah, like I said, like I want them to purchase it, but I just don't think they should purchase it on the 11th. I think just wait, especially wait, like, so that way you don't have to deal with the queues, because I feel like queues might be a problem the first 3 days. But it also depends too on how many servers we have. So I would just say just to wait, just to see what happens, see what Intrepid does too. Maybe they'll add more servers, and then I'll say, well, hey, like, go ahead and buy it and join this server that doesn't have a queue or whatever, right? But I would say too, just to wait, because there's always like issues when it comes to, day one problems and stuff like that, right? Things that may happen that could, just sour your experience. So I would just say, like, there isn't any harm in waiting, and I would recommend anyone that is seriously considering to buy Ashes of Creation just to wait a little bit. That's it. Just to wait, because I feel like the game will still be there in a week, in a month. So that way, you'll have like a better first time experience, because again, first time experiences you will never ever get that back. And if your first time trying Ashes is you being in this long ass queue, and then now you're shit out of luck on refunding it, and then now like you're stuck in the game, you don't know what to do, or like maybe you know what to do, like the Destiny thing I think was a really good thing, but that doesn't really give players an indication to use yet. Like if you just hit L by mistake, then you'll see it, but I feel like they need to do something with the first time experience to kind of, introduce the Destiny tab better. But yeah, that's pretty much like my whole take. When you say rough, do you mean crashes, systems not working? Yeah, I mean everything, because again, Ashes of Creation is an alpha game, and this is not just like a play alpha. This is a true alpha. So there could be, I mean, there's still people currently having Unreal Engine crash issues. So, that comes, with an alpha comes a lot of unexpected problems. So that's why I say to watch people that play Ashes of Creation, watch their streams, like if you're truly interested in Ashes of Creation, watch me. I'm going to try to stream the day it comes out, and other people are too. Then you can judge for yourself, is this the kind of game that I want to play? Because there's not any editing or any secret things that we can do when we're playing. Like when we're streaming, we're just streaming, So I get a lot of unreal crashes. Yeah, I did too. At the start of phase 3, I was constantly getting them, and it was really fucking annoying. But so far, I haven't had them. Like, I don't know if just something silently resolved with the patches over time, but I have yet to have another Unreal Engine crash. Thank God. Hopefully it doesn't come back. Let's do a collab when it comes out. I'm new though, but I'm loving it so far. Awesome, man. I'm really glad. Like, and again, like there was a person brand new in the Ashes Discord today that bought it already and he tried it, and where he's been playing with it in the BTR, and he really loves it too. So, like I said, I mean, people always say like, "Oh, Ashes isn't for everybody," but I feel like if it can be for a casual dad gamer like me, Ashes can be for many fucking people. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want this whole like Ashes isn't for you thing to start catching on, because I know this is something we've been saying for a long time in the Ashes community, but I think that's kind of like false expectations of what a person wants from their original MMO in Ashes, right? So that's kind of like people like, oh, I play World of Warcraft, so I want World of Warcraft in Ashes. And that's what people say, well, this MMO isn't for you, right? Because there really isn't like WoW stuff in Ashes, at least not yet. But will it have more theme parky features and things in the future? It will. So we can't really say that a person from WoW, this game isn't for them, because I'm a fucking WoW player and I love Ashes. So where's your excuse for me? Let me see. The devs, are actually trying, but there is so much stuff that goes awry and gets broken. It ends up feeling like they get super overwhelmed, and then you have everyone hitting them up on all sides. Yeah, no, of course you have people that do that, and you know, the devs are big boys. You know, like I talked to Slurp, I talked to other devs as well, and you know, they handle it very well, and but it's part of the job. You know, and they see like, oh shit, this thing's broke. Fuck. Well, looks like we're gonna have to pull an all-nighter to fix it. And you know what? They do. That's the biggest thing for me. And again, I know not everyone sees this. I peek behind the curtain more so than a lot of the people in Ash's community. But the fact that I know that there are literally devs that have asked Steven to stay and work on certain bugs and fixes till 2 o'clock in the fucking morning and still come into work at 9 are straight up G's in my mind. And they have done that. And these are people that have done that without community recognition. So, you know, for me, as someone who peeks behind that veil and has to, you know, the opportunity and the like a luxury basically to know that kind of information, that's why I push so hard for, you know, for these devs and these in this game, because I truly feel the passion of these people. And you know, as many people wants to, you know, shit on Steven or whatever, he's there at in the morning in the wee hours too. Like, he ain't just some CEO in freaking Cancun doing like Skype calls, you know, seeing how the game's doing. Like, he's there on boots on the ground, working, going through meetings, you know, working to the late hours just as much as the devs are. And, you know, I don't know. I just want to see the game succeed. That's it. That's all. If you have a 5-man group for anvils that's dedicated to killing mobs, you can do well in anvils. If you are new in solo, stay out of anvils, and they can add some solo friendly quests and such. Yeah, I feel like if you're a solo player, definitely go Riverlands. But if you want to join like a guild and the guild's going to go anvils, the anvils actually could be pretty goated. There's a lot of really good materials that you can get and some really powerful crafting items you can make that are pretty damn good. No one grinds harder than Steven. That is a fact. Yeah. I know, brother. You're a grinder too, though. You're a grinder too. As an ex-programmer, that sort of shout out and community kudos is worth a lot. No, I know. And no one does it. You know, I mean, and again, I know this information. Like, I feel very privileged to know. But I say this because so many people want to shit on the devs and be like, what the fuck are they doing? You know, do these people even play their game? Like, bro, Slurp, I don't know if I can say this, but I'll say this. He's leveled multiple level 25s in previous phases. That boy can grind. And he did that, you know, probably outside of work hours, which is also freaking nutty. So again, when I see some of these devs and how dedicated they are, like, it's insane. So I really appreciate as a player and as someone who really wants to play this game for years to come, probably into my twilight years, that'd be awesome. It's nice and refreshing to see that kind of dedication to, a craft, and to a game that we all truly want to play and have fun in. So, and I know right now, especially with all the Steam stuff, people just want to constantly shit on Ashes, right? I've seen so many Reddit posts, I've seen so many takes on it, which again, I don't want it to go on Steam. If I could have my way, I wouldn't want it to be on Steam. I'd rather wait. But again, just like I said last time, I feel like there's just certain people that were going to buy it on Steam and leave a shitty review and refund it because they have an agenda to just shit on Ashes. Steven has done shoutouts. No, yeah, he's done shoutouts. He's done shoutouts on the live streams, stuff like that. But like I said, a lot of the devs, they're very, very dedicated. I think some of the information we've been getting about feels hard to stay positive. Yeah, I can understand that. Like, and this is why, like, I'm giving feedback as to, like, if they could only give feedback in this kind of way, it would make the community feel better. Because I feel like there's just certain bits of communication that just aren't said, right? And I feel like if it was said, it would just be better overall for the community. Yeah, but we aren't shitting on the devs. Even the devs reached out to some to let them know they didn't want Steven to go to Steam. Yeah. Like I said, like I don't think people are shitting on the devs, but I think, people are very much against this decision to go on Steam. I'm one of them. But I feel like it's gonna happen. So it's like, as a parent, my daughter can be screaming and crying and be like, no, I don't want to eat this thing. But she's going to eat it. You know what I mean? If I made it for her, if my wife made it for her, it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And so I would rather now focus as to like, okay, now knowing this is the reality, there are going to be certain things that are going to happen now this is done, yeah, never going to agree with 100% of the decisions, deal with it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, and I'm dealing with it, and it's like I said, all I can do is leave feedback towards the team and towards others. This is why I'm telling brand new people, like, if you are someone that is considering to purchase Ashes on the 11th, please don't, not saying that I don't want Intrepid to make money. I do want them to make money. But I think if you're truly interested in Ashes, what I would rather you do on the 11th is watch me on stream or watch Nice on stream, watch Flanker on stream, watch whoever, I don't care what content creator, and just look at the game and look at it in the sense of like, would I actually want to play this? And if it is, then I would wait a day or two, wait until you see them go into their server or see if there are any servers that don't have a queue on them, and then try it. Go ahead and purchase it and leave feedback, please. And I will say this also, if you are a brand new player and you purchase it for the 11th or you purchase it in general, please go and join the Ashes of Creation Discord, go to the Ashes of Creation Reddit, and just leave a post as to like, hey, I leveled from 1 to 7 and this was my experience. These are the things I liked. These are the things I disliked. And say that you are a brand new person. You've never played Ashes before. You bought it from Steam. This is your new player experience. Like, please, because the team needs that feedback from new players. Let me see. Anywho, I gotta hit the sack. Thanks for keeping it real, Vladis. Peace. Yeah, man. Thank you, Death. See you. I'm actually gonna go too. It's already getting super late. My wife's probably like pissed. Every single time they sell anything, people call fouls money grabs. Well, here's the thing, and this is what I said before. As much as I don't want them to go to Steam, Intrepid is still a startup company. Steven is burning through his own money. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, any startup needs fucking money. Like, I don't get that. I think the reason why people get so upset is because you have the same things happening for multi-billion-dollar companies, right? These multi-billion-dollar companies are literally, look at Aeon 2. Aeon 2 has 4 different subscription tiers. They have multiple different currencies. They have a battle pass. And you don't think NCSoft is a multi-billion-dollar company? But no one calls foul for those Eastern MMOs. But yet for a startup company, for a company that has literally been in development for 8 years that hasn't even launched their game yet, oh, let's shit on that, right? And I get it, right? You have people that have been following Star Citizen for a long time. So people just call this like, oh, this is just the MMO Star Citizen or whatever. But MMOs take an insane amount of time to fucking develop. An insane amount of time. Why? Because usually shit goes wrong. Devs don't get it right the first time. Iteration's a bitch. And sometimes the thing you thought was cool turns out wasn't cool or wasn't fun. Now you got to think of something different or think it over. Like, that's what games are. And MMOs, more specifically, is the hardest genre to make as a developer. There's not many devs that have MMO, I built MMO experience. It's a fucking hard ass genre. But again, you have people that don't care about that. Everything I just said, they don't care about it. All they care is, oh, this person in this company just wants money. And I get that. And if that's how you feel, like I can't take that away from you. But from my personal opinion, like, I don't think they're scamming us. They've made a game that is very reminiscent of the product that we had seen on live streams for years. What to me is a scam is a bait and switch, just like Chronicles of Illyria did. They showed demos of what their game was supposed to be, and then the actual product that they delivered was literally a jumping puzzle from like 1989. What? Like, that to me is a fucking scam. I appreciate your caution to us about waiting. I'll keep an eye on this space. Have a good evening. Later, Brad, dude. I really hope you do. Thank you. And this isn't just some MMO. It's an extraordinarily ambitious MMO and made by an indie startup company. Thank you, Mr. Noobtastic. Exactly. Guys, I really want to thank all of you for joining me for this super crazy late night stream. I think it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun talking to you guys. Stay tuned. I'm going to be trying to hopefully make a new video for you guys, hopefully this week. Hopefully I can have it done by this weekend. But I will be going live again on Friday for my usual like Friday live stream. So keep your eyes then. And